and you're trained by Master Yoba.
Use the stuff.
Dude.
Use the stuff, dude.
Welcome to the podcast.
Podcast, babe.
Welcome to the podcast.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Welcome to some video games with me and Dave. We're gonna talk about some fucking games. Hey, it's Video Game Podtimism. It's the Optimist Video Game Variety Show where two best friends talk about the wonderful world of gaming. My name is Chase.
My name is David.
That was an intro. No one can tell us otherwise.
Were people giving you guff about the intro or lack thereof?
Just myself. It's my self-critic, David.
Oh.
Always saying that
wasn't
a good enough intro.
No, your intros are always impeccable.
Wow.
Please.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
You can't peck that.
I wasn't planning on pecking a bull, but I'm glad that you say it's not possible anyway. That's good for me.
You shouldn't peck a bull.
No.
Good life advice, honestly.
Good. Yeah, we're putting the video game wisdom at the beginning of the episode this week.
Don't peck a bull. Don't pretend to be a chicken.
Yeah.
And attack a bull.
It's a bad call.
Bad call.
The bull gonna get you.
That's Spark Notes right there. Bull gonna get you.
Bull gonna get you. Bull attack. Chapter 1. Gonna get you.
Gonna get you. Chapter 2. Got you.
Hey, we're still here talking about video games.
We sure are.
Week after week, still talking about video games. Have you played more of them, perchance?
We got so many hits in the video game catalog. Yes, I have been. Not as many as I would like to have this last week. I've been a little busy, Chase. I've been a little busy planning something coming this weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Have had to do some logisticry for one you, Chase Albee.
For one you. As the crow flies, as the listener listens to this, the bachelor party will have already ended. But in our timeline, in this timeline, it's not happened yet. Mm-hmm. And I hope David isn't working too hard. I hope there's not that many logistics for you.
It's fine. We're good. We're good. It's just mostly getting things into place. But it's going. Yeah. It's happening. It's going to be great.
Okay. Thank God. I appreciate you granting.
We good, baby.
All right. Cool.
But since the bachelor party is coming up, and there may or may not be a Super Smash Brothers tournament going on.
I was wondering about this. Yeah,
it's definitely happening. I have been playing a lot of Smash Brothers online, trying to get my global Smash power up.
Oh,
I almost got to Elite Smash. I was close. I was close, but then I lost 3 matches in a row and I went down pretty hard.
I don't even think I know what that means.
You have a GSP of 10,000 or greater.
Oh, yeah. They like tie a number to it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Or it's like 10. Is it 10,000 or 10 million? It's some crazy high number and it just makes no sense. It's very Nintendo in that it's just, here's your number. We're not going to explain it. It's just, it's you. This is you. This is your number.
It is a numerical representation of your skill.
Yeah, absolutely
to the
it is.
Dot.
Yeah. So I've downloaded all the new characters and I've been labbing them, Chase. I'm labbing my Terry for you.
You're Terry.
My Terry.
Oh, yeah, because you were scary Terry when we fought, dude. That was wild.
I was scary Terry. Scary?
Yeah.
Terry is kind of scary to control.
He's
got a lot going on, but he's fun. So yeah, I got some surprises for you.
I'm just going to get fucking killed this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I suspect that you have informed said participants of the Smash tourney that there will be a Smash tournament, and everybody has been slowly just like Dragon Ball Z screaming in their own house, trying to get better at Dragon Ball Z.
And Dragon Ball Z,
at Smash Brothers, and that I'm about to walk into the fucking lion's den.
There's just a montage, and it's just like a calendar, and it has the date of your bachelor party circled, and then it just cuts to every person just like training in the woods, like in a fucking waterfall playing Smash, like balancing between 2 like reeds on their toes, just with their Switch in their hand.
Let's get down to business to kick my ass.
Yes, it's gonna happen. Get ready, Chase.
I'm ready.
Anyways, Super Smash Brothers, last time I checked, is very fun. It's still a very fun game. And no notes.
Sakurai, you did it.
Good job. You done did it. So I was playing that a lot. I've still been playing some Super Mario, or not Mario All-Stars.
Mario All-Stars meaning like Mario Galaxy and Sunshine, or
I fucked this
Mario
up again.
Party All-Stars?
Mario Party All-Stars.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yes. Still, last time I checked, a very fun
Also
game.
good. Yeah.
Very good game. Played a little bit of Halo as well. Still got to use that new Pro controller I got.
Yeah.
That's honestly all I've been touching this last week.
Wow, yeah.
I got nothing else going.
A paltry sum of video games.
A paltry sum of video games. Truly, I'm famished over here. I'm famished for games.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna gorge myself this weekend though. That's what's gonna happen. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. You know what? That's okay though, because here at Video Game Podtimism, we don't set a quota of video games that we have to play.
I'm not checking my notes at the end of the week and be like, I'm behind quota.
I gotta go find a new cool video game to play.
And let me just peruse Game Pass for a half hour, see if there's some indie on there that I can play.
Well, great. That's cool.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Chase?
Oddly enough, I've also been a little slow on games, but I played a few. games. One of them that I've been playing is this game called Cursed to Golf.
I saw this. I'm into it. I love golf games. Give me the deets.
I do too. I am a known enjoyer of golf games from like in many shapes and sizes, right? Like Mario Golf, great.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Golf Advance, the GBA game, really good.
Golf Story,
really good. Hot Shots Golf, love that.
Mm-hmm.
All that sort of stuff. I'm into a golf game, despite like. I could not imagine a more polar opposite of interest of video game to sport. Like, I'm sort of interested in football, and I don't have a lot of interest in Madden.
Sure.
I like basketball quite a bit. I don't really need to play 2K, but it's like fun to watch. God, a golf game, so good, always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Golf, period. Real human life golf. No.
Chase, here's my question.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a Top Golf?
Okay, Top Golf, fun.
Yeah.
Hitting dingers, good.
Just let me hit.
Real, honest to God, I hit a ball and it goes a place I don't want it to, and I walk and try and hit it into a hole. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I am poor at this experience. But like, if I can have like a couple of jalapeno poppers and more beers than I should have on a 3-story building while I'm hitting dingers off the top, yeah, I'm into that Top Golf.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
We're here breaking down boundaries because listen, Top Golf, it's a broy place. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
it's pretty broy.
It's pretty broy. There's really some dudes in there, but like you can have a good experience there even if you're not like that type.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not consider myself that type.
Yeah, there's some dudes in there.
There's all types.
All types.
There's just like regular people who want to hit some dingers. Kids.
A lot of kiddos.
It's Top Golf. Anyway,
it's for the
this
family.
is our Top Golf segment.
Top Golf did not pay us.
No, they sure didn't. I wish they would. So Cursed to Golf is a golf game that's like a 2D game, so you really only have left or right, and it is also a roguelike, which is a bizarre combination on the face of it.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, the way the game is structured is that you are trying to get to hole 18, and I presume you would beat the game at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And all along the way, you are going to, all the different holes in there. And then there's some like bizarre little challenges or things you can do or shops that you can go to that you can spend the money that you've accrued along the way to get these like temporary usable cards that you can use to like, take a mulligan swing where once the ball goes, or once you hit it, it comes back to you. Or one where if you hit it, it turns into a rocket ship real quick, so you can like very specifically control the ball. Or one that explodes into 3 balls, and you get to choose which one you want at the end. So a bunch of these like specific items that go away, or cards as they are in the game, that you can use and then lose essentially because they're temporary. The way that the actual golfing plays out is that you're on this like very big course where you are essentially just trying to like blast your ball from one end of it to the other end to get in the hole, right? It's fun. It is very hard. These courses are pretty fucking tough because like there's all manner of fuckery going on in there. Like, I didn't even mention, but you're in the underworld. Like, you die in the first scene of this game. So, like,
I do say there's all manner of fuckery going on here.
in this golf course. So you die and go to hell, and essentially it's like if you want to crawl your way out of hell, you gotta golf, which is fun. Like,
that sounds like hell to me.
It does. Yeah, it does sound pretty hell. I'm never getting out. So yeah, the courses themselves are really challenging. So you definitely have to use your cards, like pretty much whenever you can. There are also these like totems on the field where if you hit them, you get like a couple extra strokes. Essentially, whenever you start a level, you have 5 strokes to use, and if you run out, then that you're done, essentially. Like that run is over.
Yeah.
And so, you can use cards to get a few more, or you can hit these like statues that give you either +2 or +4. And eventually you're supposed to make your way down. And the more that you have left over, essentially, the more money you get that you can spend on upgrades and shit. So yeah, once you get to like the end of, I think it's like every 6 holes, there's a boss battle. Or
okay.
I should say at the 6th hole, there's a boss battle, because that's the only one I've gotten to. And you essentially do a sort of like race with this Scotsman is the guy. He's just like
a Scotsman,
just an old Scot.
Okay, that's where golf came from.
Is that true? Actually, I didn't know.
I'm pretty
that.
sure it's Scotland.
Oh, nice. Shouts out Scotland. And yeah, so you go like race him, and you have to essentially beat him to the hole, right? Sort of like how normal golf works, but you just essentially go back and forth of like, okay, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. But it is not based on how many strokes you do. It's just about who gets there first. So unlike golf in that way. I think that I was pretty close to beating him a couple of times. However, every time I've played this level, it has crashed on me. So I do not know if I would have beaten him. I've done it like 3 times now, which is sort of a bummer.
It keeps crashing?
Crashes every single time.
What are you playing it on?
Just a Switch. I do not know what's going on there. But other than the specific crashing in the specific spot, I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, good.
I think the golf is really fun. It's an interesting use of how they make the game difficult, because it uses a typical golf slider of like press A once to determine how hard you hit it, and then A again to see like your arc. However, a lot of the time, the like how far ahead you can see of yourself is not particularly far. Like you can almost always shoot out of your like viewfinder.
Sure.
And so you can like when you're stationary, not hitting the ball, you can like move the camera like to see the whole level. But when you're actually shooting, you can't move it that far. So you don't have a lot of like leeway with where it's going to land. You kind of have to like guesstimate a little bit.
You're shooting blind a lot of the time.
Yes. And so that adds a certain layer of challenge to it. I found that you can kind of like not totally get around it, but like you start to get the feel for like, I'm pretty sure like this is this far, and I bet if I can do this and like, apply some backspin if it's looking rough, or, forward spin if it's not going far enough, then you can usually get it pretty close. And then, if you really fuck it up, there's always the cards too. So I know that approach would probably frustrate a lot of people, like not being able to see where you're going to go, especially if you enjoy, I guess, more like typical golf games where you have a pretty good idea of where it's going to land. But I think that's kind of part of the game, is like the fuckery and the chaos. And so I don't totally hate it, because it always feels like I have some option for recovering.
Gotcha. It never totally fucks you over.
It doesn't feel like it. Like I feel like usually when I lose, I'm like, I saw this coming for a while, like rather than like, oh, the game suddenly fucked me up. It's like, well, I used all my cards and I fucked up this hit and that hit and this one and yada, 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 or like that sort of stuff, right? Or I chose the wrong path. Like there's little paths you can choose in the game itself, and some of them are more challenging but lead to greater rewards. And so if you just like power through the tough ones, it might end up messing you over in the end, because it's like harder than it should be, or whatever. I will say also, like the visual style and the tone work really well together. It's just like very like bright and chipper, and I love that. The visuals of it are really good. It's like I wouldn't say pixel art, but there's like, it looks like a really good Game Boy Advance game or SNES game or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's just like a lot of motion all the time, and it looks really, really good. Like
feels alive.
Yeah, it looks very alive. Everything has like a really nice idle animation. So like the whole world is constantly always just like gyrating a little bit, which like I really like.
Okay. You like some gyration, huh?
Love the gyration. Why not? And so, yeah, I think like overall the tone is really fun. I wish that it wouldn't crash on me, but I suspect either, I can just try it one more time and it'll probably fix it, or like, it'll get patched or something. But it's fun. I think it's really fun. I also think it's like another one of these like very small or single development teams. Let me check on that. It doesn't have that much information, but it does look like there's a handful of people there, but it looks really good. I'm really into it. So yeah, that's Cursed Golf. I have also been playing PlateUp, David.
PlateUp.
PlateUp is a game on Steam that I've been playing through my Steam Link. I bought one of these a while ago and haven't really had like a really good use for it. It's like this tiny little box that you can essentially like stream whatever's on your computer to this device and then hook that up to a TV. And so I've been using it to stream this game to my TV so that Em and I can play it.
Oh, cool.
PlateUp is, I think the most concise way to describe it is Overcooked if it was a roguelike.
Oh, Okay.
Where
Interesting.
Yes, yeah. So like the way that the game plays out is that you every time you start a run, you start in like a one of a handful of layouts of a restaurant, and you choose the food that you want to make. It's like one specific food, like a steak or a salad or a pizza or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get there, and the way that the game progresses is that you essentially like go through a day of the restaurant being open. So, you open your door, and there will be people who come in and sit down, and they're like, "Hello, I would like a pizza," and then you have to go and make it. And then that part of it plays out like very similar to Overcooked, where you do a certain number of things to a certain number of ingredients and make the dish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the challenge of the game is doing all that within the correct time frame so that people don't get like mad and leave.
Sure.
The twist I think that this game does is it's a roguelike, so if you fuck up once, your run is over. So like if one customer is like, that took too long, your game is over.
Damn, just one?
Just one.
Whoa.
And initially on first blush, I read that description and I was like, that seems kind of punitive and challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this game does a good job of taking away some of the layers of Overcooked that seemed like intentionally to try and make it a lot harder. Where like, half of your kitchen is being split in half by an axe as you're like floating down a river.
Yes.
And you have to like throw ingredients. Like that's not in here.
Like crazy shit like that. Yeah.
Whereas
that game broke you, Chase. That game broke you.
Dude, yeah. When you guys were up here playing it, Overcooked, in my house, like for whatever reason, 4 people who are all very like opinionated about how a kitchen should be run was too much. It was entirely too much for me.
We broke poor Chase.
I like so rarely back out of a game because I'm like, it's too hot.
I was shocked. It was too hot for you. It was way too hot. Chase couldn't take the heat, so we got out of the kitchen.
I literally did, and still caught a little bit of heat. The people who are still in the kitchen were like, could have used a fucking fourth right there.
It's true. It's true. We had our worst attributes on display that night.
That was wild. Anyway, so the game does away with a lot of that stuff and allows you to really like make the kitchen however you want it to be laid out. So before you start a day, you can move anything around, right? So like where the tables are in the restaurant, where the chopping boards are, where the oven is, any of that stuff to make it so like, okay, I think this is the layout that's going to do best for us, right? Mm-hmm. Which is good. It ends up feeling like very nice to be able to like fuck with it and be like, okay, I want this over here so that when we're like moving and grooving, you can just come like drop the dirty plates on this spot and I'll still be like chopping tomatoes or whatever, and we'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So that part of it is good. Once you finish a day, you're presented with a certain number of like new things for the kitchen you can buy, like a stand mixer or something like that. Or
KitchenAid.
Yeah, KitchenAid specifically, sponsored by KitchenAid. Mm-hmm. Or any number of things that will hopefully make your kitchen a little bit easier to run, but in typical fashion, every day ratchets up in difficulty. There will be more people showing up to your restaurant, and even everybody in the restaurant is happy if you have a customer show up who can't get in the door, like there's not enough space to sit down, they will leave, and that'll count as like a failure, essentially. So it's challenging. It's pretty tough. Mm-hmm. I like this game, and I think the concept of it is really strong. Like, I think Overcooked is such a specific kind of hit, and like, yeah, it's just like, it's a really fun co-op game. And I feel like a lot of times co-op games don't always nail what makes that game fun, right? Mm-hmm. We played Moving Out, the
same
game a little while ago, and like, it was fun, I agree, but they didn't quite nail the like difficulty curve or something. It always felt like I wasn't doing something right, or it was just too hard.
Yeah, honestly, like all the Overcooked clones that I've played, or Overcooked likes, I guess you could say, have not had that same magic that Overcooked has. There's something that people just can't put their thumb on with Overcooked that just takes it to the next level. Yeah,
and I think a lot of it is like how difficult the game is while remaining still pretty easy to grasp.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time in Overcooked, whenever Em and I didn't hit the mark in a level, it was like, okay, well, we fucked up here, here, and here, and we were slow on this thing, and like, I threw away 5 dishes or something like that. So it's like, it makes sense why you didn't hit it.
Yeah, you can go back and understand. Like, you can check yourself. You can check your own work.
Yeah. And so I think this game conceptually is really good. I think there's a lot of like very bizarre UX decisions in it that like kind of are hard for me to get over.
As a UX person.
Yeah. Like it's so specifically, I'm talking about like at the end of a level, the way that you are shown that you have new options available to you, like new things you can buy, is that there's just like 8 or 9 like letters that are on your ground that you have to go and open individually. They then show like, hey, this is a counter. This one is a stand mixer. This
Sure.
one is more plates. And it becomes kind of obtuse having to like wander around your restaurant to like look at all the new things you can get. Whereas like, I think it would have been fine to just put that in like a menu, you know, like on the screen, say, here's the things you can choose to buy, and then just like plop those down in your restaurant rather than like all, 8 upgrades or whatever.
Sure.
And not to mention, like, if you're viewing 2 of them at once, it's really hard to see because their text kind of overlaps in a weird way. It also, like, just visually looks like, I'm not going to say rough, but, like, not phenomenal. I'm trying not to bash on it because, like, it doesn't look bad. Like, it served the purpose, right? But I think it's hard to
It doesn't
not
do
compare.
anything to stand out visually.
Not really. Like, it looks pretty like boilerplate. Like all the characters are just like, they look like pieces from like, they look like pawns from chess or something, right? Like just very basic non-wild characters. And it's hard not to compare it to Overcooked that had like a bajillion adorable little creatures you could play as,
Sure.
And so I think like visually it's just, let me say this differently. I think that the visuals don't do very much to help the core part of the game, right? Like they're not really pushing the intent of the game, which is to have this like fun and no, I wouldn't say serious, but like fair cooking game. And it just doesn't feel like the visuals are like doing that.
Sure.
Whereas, like I said, I think the intent that the developers of Overcooked had were like, this is a game about making sense out of like chaos in a certain sense.
Yeah. Organized
like,
chaos.
Yeah. And like the characters kind of look like that, right? Like you first get 2 humans and then you get like a cat and like a fish or something like that. Like it's wild, the characters that they're giving you.
Yeah.
And I think the visual style all aids that feeling of like, this is chaos. Whereas I just don't know what this one's visual style is really saying. And like, it's an indie game. It doesn't have to, right? Like, I don't need it to have one, but I think just like collectively, a bunch of these tinier things sort of add up to me being like, this game ends up feeling kind of weird and like disjointed.
Sure.
I wouldn't say that makes it bad at all. It's just something that I'm like very aware of when I'm playing it.
Doesn't seem to all go together.
Not exactly. And I will say also, it's pretty fucking hard. Em and I did not get past like the 3rd day with any regularity. I think we did it once and we were like, there's no way we're going to be able to get past day 4. There's just no way. And so I'm not, maybe we're playing it wrong. Maybe there's a couple of things we need to like unlock as far as like meta progression goes, because that is a thing. There's like mixers that make your life a lot easier. There are ovens that like will never burn your food, but they cook a lot slower. So like that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
Right? Like, there's a lot of interesting ideas in there. Like I think that is the strength of this game, is that it is doing a lot and twisting a lot of the ideas that Overcooked had in ways that are actually very interesting. And like, how do those ideas work when they're in the roguelike genre, right? And I think they've adapted a lot of those really well. So I think that is the part of the game that I'm like, I think about and, I keep coming back to for that reason. So yeah, PlateUp. It's on Steam if you're interested. It was another one of those games that have like an overwhelmingly positive review set. So I was like, well, yeah, I gotta check that out.
Gotta try it.
The final game that I've been playing, David, is Blue Stinger.
Ooh, Blue Stinger.
Blue Stinger. This is a weird fucking video game.
You streamed this, didn't you?
I did stream this, which I will mention in a moment in a different segment. But it's not like a different segment. It's my Podtimistic thing. It's streaming video games.
Okay,
We'll get there.
Spoiler.
Spoiler Stinger.
Oh, that's good.
So Blue Stinger is this like kind of survival horror game. Came out on the Dreamcast. It is a game made by Climax Graphics, which
Climax.
What a name. Climax Graphics. It's this game. It's like a survival horror game that feels, reminiscent of a Resident Evil, but not exactly. You show up to this like island. You're this dude named Elliot who's on vacation, like gets pulled into Dinosaur Island. I have not seen any dinosaurs. Dino Island. I have not seen any dinosaurs yet, so who knows what's going on there.
Sure.
Anyway, so you show up and you're essentially just like trying to survive, right? The main draw of this game for me is just how bizarre the whole thing is. Elliot as a character is the weirdest dude. Pretty much like immediately sees like the one woman on this island and is like, awooga. I love that chick.
Instant awooga.
Instant awooga.
Is he the jeans guy? Good jeans guy?
He is the jeans guy. If you've seen
That's the jeans of the main character. I've ever seen it.
Those are main character jeans. Main character
so
Levi's.
Blue.
Very blue jeans. You also run into what will be one of your main characters that you can play named Dogs.
Dogs?
Dogs is the name of this guy.
Like AWGS or OGS?
DOGS. Dogs.
What? Why?
Yeah. He's a bizarre person. Very Wario-like. In sort of his whole demeanor. Whenever you pick something up, he's like, yes. Or like saving, he's like, I did it, or anything like that. That may not be exactly what it is, but
that sounded like Wario.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds like Wario. It's bizarre. But anyway, so the two of you are essentially just like wandering around this island, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And like there are just like bizarre monsters. Like they sort of look like monsters from The Thing. The John Carpenter thing.
Okay.
And so like you would think that would be pretty scary, but like, man, this game is not scary. It is just so strange, and the dialogue is always just in your face weird. The music as well is just blaring at all times, constantly blaring. And like not, I would say, atmospheric music. The beginning area is like kind of mysterious and intense, but like you get to the second area and it is like just Christmas music.
Christmas music.
It's so in game it's like Christmas Eve.
So just Mariah Carey the whole time.
Let me play you just like a little bit because it's wild. It like truly does not feel like a horror game soundtrack.
And the bad like horn section keyboard modifier or whatever it is. Soundboard.
Yeah. It's the drums in the background. The constant.
They're not good. Those drums are not good.
And like you are in a horrible situation as a person, right? Like you're running around shooting these like 4-armed monsters, and this is playing in the background.
What is this face on the video right now? The big face.
Yeah, so this is there's like this creature that shows up in the beginning of the game. You have like a compatriot that you show up on with a boat, and he's like essentially putting a like anime character into a bottle. He's like building an anime character in a bottle.
Whoa.
And like when this weird big dome shows up above your boat, it turns that creature into like a living, breathing thing. And so that's the face you see on this YouTube video. Anyway, it is so bizarre, and I would wager bad. Like, I know we're in Video Game Podtimists and the Optimus Video Game Variety Show, but like this game is pretty rough.
Not a fan, huh? The Blue Stanger.
I am, let's be clear, a fan. I love playing this game. It is bad, though. Like, the dialogue is nonsensical. Nobody speaks like a human speaks in real life.
Sure.
The game is pretty easy, so like that helps, but like the camera angles are disastrous at points. Like I fought a boss today and the camera got stuck in the corner to the point where like I could not see the boss. I just couldn't see them. It was just like a downward facing camera angle on Elliot, and like I just sort of stood in the corner because it seemed like the boss also for whatever reason was having a hard time finding me. Despite being right in front of me. And so I just like for a minute and a half like laid into this boss with like I was just shooting him, and like that was the way that the boss battle played out.
Damn.
So it's bizarre. I'm mostly just like having a good time playing through this very, very weird game because it just doesn't stop coming with the weird stuff. Like I was telling you before the pod, there's soda in the game called Hassie, and I'm obsessed with Hassie, man.
I'm gonna slap a Hassie.
Slap a Hassie. So whenever I get a chance in while I'm streaming this, gotta crack open a Hassie. It's so much fun. So
are you paid by Big Hassie to say this right now? now.
I am sponsored by Big Hass. That is true. So anyway, I think mostly enjoying it because I don't know that games like this get made anymore, where this is, I think, a genuine attempt at a very good game. And so much of it is just so bizarre and weird. And like Sega had already invested a bunch of money in it. So they're like, well, I guess we got to put it out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, indie games are out there, but rarely does it come to the level of like having enough budget for dialogue or anything like that. You know, oftentimes when an indie game is bad, it's just like mechanically it doesn't feel very good. Whereas this one is like mechanically a little rough and the dialogue is otherworldly. So it's
otherworldly.
It's truly bizarre. I rolled up on this like child in the game today and she's like crying in the corner and I'm like, what's going on? Roll over there. She says like something. I couldn't quite make it out. And then I'm given, apropos of nothing, a Sega coin for like the arcade that I'm currently in. And I was like, did I just like take this coin from this child? Anyway, the solve for that puzzle is you have to go over and there's like a game that like some monsters come up out of, not real monsters, but like, you know, a lion or something. It's like a fair game essentially, where some cardboard cutouts of monsters come up and you have to like actually shoot them with a gun.
Whoa.
Directly next to the child. Like, you are feet from the child and you're shooting them with a gun, and eventually if you win, you get this big plushie and you give it to the child and she's like, oh, sick, dude, thanks. I'm feeling much better now.
Just need to hear some gunshots.
Yeah. I'm totally deaf in my left ear, but like, man, this plushie is cool. And the thing that you get out of that is her saying it's Christmas Eve. Then you're like, okay, that's bizarre. And anyway, you go over to a door that has a code combination, and I'm like, I guess I must have, you know, missed it at some point. So I while I'm streaming this, look up a guide to see like what the code is, and it is 1224.
Oh, Christmas
Eve. In no world when I've put those two things together, David, I could have spent 1,000 years in that room and not thought, 1224 for sure.
Damn.
Because this terrifying child just told me that it's Christmas Eve.
That's something special. Yeah, if I didn't have a guide, I wouldn't have gotten that.
No, absolutely not. So there's been plenty of moments while I'm like streaming this that I'm like just on the side like, oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? What am I supposed to do here? So anyway, it's really fun. I'm enjoying it. I sort of love this era of Dreamcast games where like they're just throwing money at shit, and so much of it didn't work very well.
It was the Netflix of video game companies back then.
Kind of, yeah. It reminds me a lot more of like the weird sort of like indie movie scene for a little while where there was just so much shit coming out, and a lot of it was quite bad.
Yeah.
And so like that part of it is very fun for me, because in a way that like I said, a bad indie game is like sort of like, it's a shame. Like I wish this, the X, Y, or Z would have happened. And like, I hope this developer keeps working on it because like, 3 people or something like that. This one is much different. There's so much money in here and it's still so wild. So I really like it. Anyway, David, this will bring me to my Podtimistic thing of the week. It's streaming video games, David.
Hell yeah.
As suggested before.
Streaming games.
This is not something that I like have done very much of in the past. And I will say it is nice having done 100 some odd episodes of a podcast, because at this point I'm sort of used to talking into a microphone now.
Sure. Yeah.
And like
second nature.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm like, good at this or anything, but like, it's easy to just kind of continue talking out loud while you're playing a video game. And so that's sort of nice. I also like very much appreciate the people who are like kind of hanging out while I'm doing this, because this is very much just like an experiment that I'm trying out right now.
Yeah.
And so it's been nice to kind of have like a handful of people to come and like shoot the shit while I'm playing this very weird game.
It's your experimental phase right now.
Yeah. So it's fun for me. I am not, I think, of the generation of kids who are growing up where it's like streaming is like the thing they want to do. Yeah, like I don't really have that in my head. I think I was just like a little bit too old for that. But I will say coming to it kind of like later is nice, because I don't have a lot of these preconceived notions, and I can kind of just like play old shitty games and hang out with some people that I know on the internet, It's also just really fun. Like this game is bizarre and ridiculous, and like the pressure of playing it in front of some people, like I probably would have quit playing this game by now if I was on my own. But because there's like somebody watching, and like I find it humorous when like somebody's kind of miserable playing a video game. It's kind of funny, and like I think that's kind of true here too, of like the game just doesn't stop being weird and ridiculous, and like Sometimes I'll just run around a corner and die, right? Like I'll walk into a pool that has a bunch of piranha fish in it. It's just like, oh, game over.
Just like, oh, well, I guess we're starting over.
I guess we're doing it from the save point. So it's been really fun. I'm like very much enjoying it, and also am like not trying to make it work, you know? Like
Sure.
I'm very conscious of
It's fun.
of a millennial's drive to make everything into capital C content, but like it's kind of just fun right now.
Capital C, the dirty C.
The dirty C content. So like as much as this is a streaming thing, I think that is the fun part. Like I said, if I was playing this on my own, it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the presence of an audience of like, you know, even a handful of people is really nice to be able to have someone in chat say, what the fuck, when something weird happens, and me be like, yeah, right? Like, that's great. It's the same thing as playing, you know, couch co-op or something, or, you know, somebody playing a game while you're watching, and it's ridiculous because it's very fun. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it right now.
Cool. Nice, man.
Do you have anything fueling your sense of Podtimism, David?
Yeah, I do, Chase.
What is it?
It's roguelikes.
It's roguelikes. Whoa, yeah,
Just
true.
in general.
Yeah.
I really appreciate them because I can get the same kind of amount of visceral gaming that I want out of an online gaming session in a single player setting from them.
Sure, yeah.
Right? It's like a round of Hades, a round of Monster Train, a round of whatever else I'm playing that week. It's like half hour, 45 minutes, just playing through, doing my own thing. It's competitive, it's fun, it's engaging, but I'm not like having to deal with other people, which sometimes I don't want to do. Especially if I've had bad experiences, like our good friend Garen was having a tough time playing ranked in Halo this past weekend per a text message that he sent us all. I'm like, man, I've been there, and that's just such a bummer. So playing a fun skill-based game that is bite-sized and has a defined endpoint that will make it easy for me to go to bed then, and I don't have to worry about getting stuck in a cutscene or getting stuck in a boss fight or anything like that, like you do in like a single player action game, right?
True.
So yeah, love that. I love me a good roguelike.
It is fun how dependent on failure roguelikes are. Like they really build it in that like loss is a part of this game.
Yeah, you're gonna lose,
and
you're gonna like it.
And it doesn't feel as bad, right? Like the losses in Hades are like, yeah, okay, cool. Like maybe I didn't do the thing I want to, but now I get to go see what's up with all my friends. You know?
I know you always get to go say hey to all your buds, so it's never an actual loss.
No, and you can go spend whatever credits you've earned from the last run to like upgrade X, Y, or Z.
Yourself, yeah. Yeah, maybe buy some more Titan blood to upgrade that weapon that you want, right?
Yeah,
all sorts of things you can do.
Even in like stuff like Monster Train, I think the draw of that game, at least for me, is the experimentation that you can do with any given deck.
You're all about experimentation tonight.
Yeah, it's true. Just seeing what's good out there. Try
good.
Something new.
Why not? Spice of life, variety.
So like, I think failure in that sense is like this experiment that I was doing didn't work in the way that I wanted it to, which is like also valid information in Monster Train. What kind of deck can I use to like better do this run? Which is cool. It's like fun that it's because the runs aren't super long. It's not as punishing. Whereas like in something like Blue Stinger, if I die sometimes, it's like I learned that I can't do that, or that like I die at this part, but like I didn't learn very much more about the game necessarily.
Yeah.
You know? And it just makes me do it over again.
You learn there's a pond of piranhas behind this corner and that I shouldn't run into it.
Yes. Versus like I learned that if I put this many cards of this type into this deck, it's not going to work so well. Let me try something totally different next time. Or, maybe a more direct comparison that if I roll before Melania comes down and slashes me with her sword, she gonna get me, and so I have to learn her patterns. What was gonna get you in the beginning of the episode? What was gonna get you? Bull gonna get you.
Bull gonna get you.
Chapter 1, Bull gonna get you. Chapter 2, X also gonna get you. He's gonna give it to you.
X is on the bull. Chapter 3, X and bull. Gotcha.
Look at the bull. It has X on it. So yeah, it's cool.
Terrifying.
Do you want to move on to our main thing, David?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Can I get just a second outside?
Yeah. I'll go grab a mic. It's Good Games. It's a segment where we talk about the okayest games of yesteryear. and gush all the things that we love about them. And we're still in the listener mailbag doing suggestions.
We're reaching into our bag.
And we're doing another one. Again, thank you for all of you who submit one. I feel like every week we do this, there's like another set of people who are like, oh yeah, here's something I could do. Mm-hmm. Always exciting. I'm always stoked. Like, even if we haven't gotten to that episode yet, I see all of them and I'm like, nice. Hell yeah. That's awesome.
They're always fun to see.
Yeah. So thank you for sending those in. You can do that at podtimism.com if you are so inclined.
Ooh, early plug.
Early plug. We're doing this week this game called Colony Wars Red Sun. This was a suggestion by Pickle. Thank you, Pickle.
Thanks, Pickle.
Long-time listener. Appreciate your suggestion. Yeah, it's exciting. I was excited for this one because it looked interesting. And I also had never heard of it
Same.
before.
I've never heard of this as a series, apparently. This is like the third one.
Yes, it's the third in the series.
Colony Wars.
The Colony Wars. So yeah, I was like kind of gobsmacked that I was like, I literally have never seen this before.
Gobsmacked. It's my favorite heavy metal group.
Yeah, Gobsmack. Their hit song, Get Down with the Illness. Down with the Illness? Illness? I actually don't know a lot of Disturbed, I'm realizing. No, I mean Godsmack. What does Godsmack do? Godsmack's most famous songs. Ooh, they have a website. It's on godsmack.com.
Godsnack?
Godsnacks. Talking about Godsmacks. This is the weirdest Caro Benito song.
Oh, the Godsmack Bug Snacks crossover is really what we all needed. God damn. Didn't they just do a DLC for Bug Snacks? I didn't get in that.
I think so, yeah.
Big Bunger Island.
Big Bunger Island. Anyway, okay, so before we get too far, let me hit you with some hot stats, David.
All right, let's hear it.
Hot stats. Hot stats.
Talking about hot stats. So, Colony Wars Red Sun came out June 1st of 2000 for PlayStation 1.
That's a late PlayStation 1 game.
Yes, very much. Like, pretty late in the PS1's life cycle. I think the PS2, I think, launched in 2001, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. No, October of 2000. So, like, literally the last couple of days of the console's life cycle is when this game came out. It's like months away from the PS2 launching.
Oh wow, okay.
Which is potentially why I've never heard of it, because I was
you were ready to do the PS2 thing.
I was off in Dynasty Warriors Land or in Smuggler's Run.
Oh,
playing Smuggler's Run.
What a deep cut.
I feel like that was one of the launch titles, if I remember correctly.
Sounds right.
That old Rockstar hit. They were made by this company called Cynosis, which love that. Really good name. Cynosis Limited specifically. They made a bunch of games. They made Lemmings. They made the Wipeout series, which owns.
Oh, Wipeout's great.
Yeah, Wipeout is really good. They made A Bug's Life, of course.
Classic.
The Toy Story game for SNES. Mm-hmm. Played that one. And of course, the cult hit classic, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein for Super Nintendo.
have to stipulate Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
It was in the title.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Was that A Bug's Life featuring Jerry Seinfeld?
Was Jerry Seinfeld in Bug's Life?
Wasn't that him?
I don't remember a single character's name from A Bug's Life.
Or who was in Ants? Wasn't that somebody famous? Sylvester Stallone, Woody Allen. Oh, canceled.
Whoa. The lineup of Ants is bananas, David. Woody Allen, Sylvester Stallone, Sharon Stone, Danny Glover, Gene Hackman, J-Lo.
Christopher Walken?
Oh my God. DreamWorks was going pretty fucking hard on Ants, man.
And Dan Aykroyd.
A Bug's Life was John Lasseter.
Oh, also canceled.
Yeah. So no Bugs. Also Kevin Spacey. These Bugs movies.
Super canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Deeply, deeply canceled.
Yeah, he was the villain, though, so that's good at least. Hayden Panettiere.
Excuse me?
As Dot, Ada's younger sister and always admiring Flick. She was the young lass.
Oh, yeah, because she's our age. That's wild.
I know, that's your girl.
Save the cheerleader, save the world, David.
Truly.
So I do have a review from a German outlet called Video Games.
Oh.
Joe Video didn't have a hand on this ball. It's been a little while, Joe. I will say, it's been a couple episodes and I am missing you. I'm here without you, baby. And you're still on my lonely mind. A real butt rock episode already. This is very weird. I've had Godsnax and Creed, Nickelback. I don't know which one that is.
Puddle of Mud? I don't know.
Oh my God, is it Puddle of Mud?
Breaking Benj?
I need to just slow down on the butt rock references, David.
I call it B.
Oh my God,
I call him B-Benj for short.
It's none of the above.
Oh God, who is it?
One more guess, David.
So it's not. Oh fuck. So we've already done no Breaking Benjamin, no Godsnax,
Yeah.
no Creed,
No Creed, no
Nickelback,
no Puddle of Mud.
no Puddle of Mud. Oh my God.
The moment you hear the name, you'll be like, God damn it, of course.
I got nothing.
It is 3 Doors Down, David.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Sorry, Pickle, that this is turning into the
butt rock
early
episode.
2000s butt rock episode.
Just when rock and roll was just like, I don't know what to do with myself right now.
What do I do with my hands?
We need a recession to make these millennials sad so they have something to sing about.
So there's like maybe better music.
Yeah.
It got better. It got a little better.
Yeah.
So I do have a review from Video Games, the German outlet, which I have run through a number of languages through Google Translate, of course, through the Strait of Esperanto, back out into English to mangle it up and really get some artistic interpretation of the review. Okay, so this is what Video Games had to say. Relatively deep plot. I did not expect as much as I expected, but I am very happy with Space Saga. The variety of tasks combined with a little decision making sure got me great, ... But there's something that bugs me. Even with more attackers against you, you will be victorious over your enemies. The only problem, which turns out to be really ugly in Stage 3, is the number of enemies. The search for better AI is redundant. It is ridiculously reckless. I already have chicken fingers. It takes an annoying time. We have enough languages. That is 79 out of 100 from Video Games.
Oh man.
I love it. I love them yelling at their kid in the back of the car at the middle of that review talking about chicken fingers.
We already have chicken fingers. Damn, that's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I liked the chicken fingers section. That was really fun for me.
It felt like how in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when they read something Charlie wrote. That's what that one sounded like.
Yeah.
Just like pretty incomprehensible with like one small string of lucidity lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, there's something in there. I think I know what they think about this game, but like, what about the AI is redundant? And also, do we have enough languages? What is this?
It's like, it's a very stream of consciousness review.
Yes.
They didn't actually
absolutely
formulate their thoughts. They just like wrote down questions that they had.
It's good. I like that one. David, could you explain to me what this video game is?
Yes. Colony Wars 3 Red Sun is a space dogfighting spaceship battle game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very, very confusing intro cinematic that explains, I'm guessing, like what's going on in like the first 2 games, or at least is a continuation of them.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, you're a guy and you're sitting in your house, and then a big orb comes and like gets inside your body, and then you see the future, and then a bunch of Palpatines come and force shock you, and you lose consciousness, and you're just like, that's when I knew I had to do something. And you decide to go and be a mercenary, I guess. Leave your boring life behind. Yeah, so you are a mercenary, I'm guessing, right, in space. You have a ship. You can upgrade your ship by completing different missions and getting credits and buying new parts or upgrading current parts. And that's kind of the main gist of the game. There are main blaster cannons. There are flares that you can do. There are homing missiles you can use as well. And there's actually a pretty decent 3D aerial combat game in here, honestly. I thought the controls were pretty good in space and in the air on planets. Yeah, and they have a little like 3D map in the bottom corner, which was nice but hard for a colorblind person to use when all the colors are green, yellow, and red. A little difficult. It all looked the same to me. So that was fun. But yeah,
that's got to be so frustrating.
It was pretty frustrating. It's like the beginning level where it's like, only shoot the red targets, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Ones?
Yeah, I failed that one until it was just process of elimination. I found the right one, but here we are. We made it through. But again, I think that's the gist of the game. Yeah, you have different missions for each of these different like missions you can take, like escort missions, go blow up this thing mission, sneaky missions, and you have to play accordingly in all of them. But it's a fun game.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's like some kind of story, but like, man, I will say, I just do not know
I did not grok a single rock of that story.
No, there's like things going on, but yeah, I am so far away from understanding the lore of Colony Wars Red Sun.
I have no idea. Don't ask me.
It seemed interesting. Like, I liked what was happening, and as much as the game, and I think this is a good thing, as much as the game is like kind of crunchy sci-fi with like, you know, you're in your ship and it's like very kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like
musty.
It is musty. Yeah, it's like a physical space, right? Like kind of used future looking stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like Firefly. Was kind of the aesthetic I got.
Yeah, but I do like that they've infused a certain amount of like magic in here, which is very fun, very cool.
Yeah. There's definitely some Star Wars vibes in here,
oh
along
my
with
gosh.
like the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, it's Blank Wars is the game, right? It's Colony Wars, Star Wars.
Yeah.
I will say that one of the like first levels has like just a Star Wars ass sound and song in it.
The music was very intense orchestra music,
which I was surprised by. I was surprised that like this kind of game had that, again, PlayStation 1 sort of thing.
Now I was honestly impressed by the music. So it is so over the top dramatic.
Yeah. Like, that sounds like a Star Wars video game. It sounds like Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think that's a bad thing, right?
No,
like they know what they're trying to do here, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, is this just Sony's answer to Rogue Squadron at this point?
And like, not a bad answer.
No,
I will say.
It's not.
Like, I think it's taking a lot of things, and like, you know, we can start talking about the things that we liked about this game, but I think it is taking a lot of the stuff that you would see in something like Mech Warrior or any of those, like, I keep using the word crunchy, but crunchier mech games where like a lot of the UI is visible and it feels very like used and kind of dingy.
Sure.
But still very like grounded and specific, I guess, is maybe a word that I'm looking for here. Like when you're in the cockpit, there's just like a lot of stuff going on, and it feels like a lot of it does have meaning, right? Like there's a map at the bottom, and you can kind of see like the readout for like your weapons and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's all really good. Like it feels very good to just like pilot around. They made the incredible decision. I love whenever games do this, that are piloting games, where they make the good decision to just stop your ship whenever you're not moving forward.
Yeah, so I can look around, do things.
Yeah, like you can just turn around if you want to. It's essentially just hovering. And so like you're not always just like flying around the screen like uncontrollable bullet, you know, like you're kind of just like, I'm gonna stop here right now. I'm just gonna put the brakes on and like not go anywhere. So like I love that decision. Yeah. What stuck out about this game for you?
Yeah, so definitely the music was the first thing that stuck out, and that how dramatic and bombastic it was to set a place and a tone for this game. Like you hear that music and you immediately get the illusion of Star Wars. Like this is going to be an epic saga that is going on right now. There are going to be big battles. There's going to be good and evil. It just gets you ready to go. So I did enjoy the music, even though I thought that it was a little overly dramatic in some parts, or it could tend that way.
Yeah.
It was sometimes overwhelming in how dramatic it was in some pretty mundane parts, but you kind of get used to it, and it's kind of fun. And I do think just the orchestration of it was impressive for a PlayStation 1 game. Second of all, the graphics really stuck out to me, especially like the beginning cutscene graphics. I was surprised that there was a PlayStation 1 game that could look that good with that many moving parts on screen at once, even if it was a pre-rendered cutscene.
It's so surprising.
Yeah, so I was quite impressed by that, honestly. You know, I thought that was pretty darn good for PlayStation. I can't remember any other PlayStation 1 game looking that good. Maybe like a Final Fantasy, but they were...
Blasto didn't look this good.
Blasto didn't look that good. Tomba didn't look that good. That's for sure.
Tomby ain't looking good.
Tomby ain't looking good.
Tomby actually does still look pretty good.
It's stylized. It's nice, actually. Yeah. So that was good, and I did enjoy the combat. It was pretty, basic, but it was fun enough to fly around in your machine, your little spacecraft. I found that having the first person view, like with any first person dogfighting game, for me personally, I just feel like I'm just turning a lot of the time, but it is nice to just stop and do a nice quick U-turn. That's always a great thing. But yeah, it wasn't particularly challenging, but still felt good to fly around in your machine. They made it feel weighty, which was nice.
Yeah. They definitely got the physicality of it down, like the momentum of your ship, and like crashing into another ship feels like weighty and big. It's really good. I think they nailed the game feel of this game, like you were saying, in a way that I didn't expect coming from a PlayStation 1 game. I mean, at this point, the PlayStation 1 had been out for 6 years. And like you were saying, like, this is so close to the end of its life cycle that like they're really squeezing every inch of this console out. You're right that the cutscenes were like shockingly good. Like the resolution of them is quite bad, but like the people look like humans, you know, like it's a lot of this game, at least in the cutscenes, was reminding me of like StarCraft in the way that it sort of like visually looked, but the StarCraft humans do not look this good in StarCraft 1, you know, like they look like these sort of like clay monsters that they've created. And like that's fine. That's not to burn on that like artistic style, but like I was shocked that like that looks like a guy on PlayStation 1. Like we played through Silent Hill last year, and Harry does not look like a guy. That dude looks scary.
He looks like polygons.
Scary Harry.
Scary Harry.
So yeah, I was pretty impressed just like by the visuals. So anyway, I agree with pretty much everything you said there. Like it feels really good. It sounds really good. It looks really good for the time. I am sure that like if somebody has grown up only having played like fairly modern games, that this is going to look a little rough. But like I'm such a sucker for the like used future user interface that is present in this game. Yeah. Like just the map looks so much fun to me whenever, in sort of the original Star Wars series, like anytime they pull up like their tracking systems, I'm like, yes, dude, that looks so cool. Yeah. And was one of the few things in Cyberpunk that I was really enthused about was all the user interfaces in the fucking cars, because they were all so specific. And so anyway, I really love that stuff, and so whenever they get a chance to show me any of that in a video game, I really like it. Not to mention it is also communicating just the used future design that is like outside of any sort of video game, right? Like it just looks very good to me on its surface, but I also sort of like that aesthetic specific to video games too. I like that sort of like low poly look.
You like the PS1D makes.
Yeah, I do. And like, it's so bizarre because even at the time I was like, God, I wish these video games could look better. And then after the fact, I'm like, ooh, I would love it if this game looked like remarkably worse. I think I just like it when it is used as an intentional decision rather than just like, this is what we got, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really like it. I think under the context of 2022, like it's really fun to see these like weird polygonal ships flying around the screen, and like all the designs of the ships are like not a lot of round edges on these things. It's a lot of harsh, specific corners so that like the ships can be
a lot of right angles.
A lot of right angles, a lot of things that can be rendered with like 8 sides, you know, rather than like a perfect orb or anything like that. So yeah, I think I like aesthetically really like this game. I think it's really fun to just go like hang out in there. And I was like shocked that the story was present at all. This game totally could have just been a fucking flight sim dogfighter game. Yeah. And like that would have been, I think, totally acceptable even at the time.
Absolutely.
But it's like really fun that there's a whole ass story.
You get a lot of story. There's a lot of story going on in this game. Like I said, I can't comment on any of it because I don't understand it, but it was there.
Even the Wikipedia seems a little bit sparse. They seem a little bit misled about what was going on.
Like, well, we don't even know what's happening.
It says a miner in the Dendray system named Alexander Lyrion Valdemar experiences strange dreams about an alien race called the Shahar and a mysterious ship called the Red Sun. A man known as the General forces him to get on the case of investigating the Red Sun and how it is tied to the survival of the galaxy. That's it. That's all they got.
Wow.
That's probably what's written on the box.
I didn't get any of that.
No.
That's more than I got.
But I do like that the lore is there, and it does sound like the the plots for the previous games are a little bit more built out. I was reading about Colony Wars Vengeance, which this one takes place in a similar time to. And there's a lot of shit going on there. A lot of like politicking and shit like that. I don't know if the actual in-game experience of like telling that story is any more comprehensible than this one, but it is cool that it's there. I do like that.
Yeah.
I love that a game is trying to tell a sci-fi story set in the year 4671.
That's far from now.
That's far. I love that. So yeah. What else did you like about this game? Did you like anything else?
It was a fun game.
Yeah. It's a fun game.
Honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree that like I was not expecting it to be as competent as it was.
Yeah, I don't know if I could play it for long periods of time, but it's fun to go in and play like a couple missions and then jump out. Because like I said, the missions, the dogfighting can get somewhat repetitive just because it's not super challenging. But like, I'd rather it be easy than like way too hard. Especially like a game like this on the PlayStation's like you can't do too complicated of motion and movement to really make it dynamic, because I don't know if the hardware could handle that. But I think they did quite a good job with what they had.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. I think the experience of playing this now is definitely a lot of like, wow and whoa, really? For 2000?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is like I'm more impressed by just like the state of it.
Yeah. But even devoid of that, right? Like even without the sort of impressiveness about, this came out 23 years ago and or 22 years ago and it still looks really, really good, or like is impressive at least for what it was. I do think there's a lot to love about it. I think the combat is really fun. I probably could play this for longer lengths of time. And I do wonder how much of that is like the colors in it. Like it was, I don't suffer from color blindness. And so like it was pretty obvious when I was in the dogfights, like who's the bad guy and who's the good guy. And so like the escort mission in the beginning was like not that big of a challenge. And so I do wonder how much like if this game just got like a little bit of an accessibility bump, if that would do it.
Yeah, my homie was not pleased with me. I shot him many a time. So I just see him like, fuck. And he'd be like, hey, check your targeting computer.
Yeah, because you're essentially having to like fire on these people by vision, like physical vision.
Yeah, no targeting computer that I get from like Star Wars. We don't get those cool computers.
No.
And there's like a little 3D cube map in the bottom left, which is cool. I did like the map.
It is
the map
cool.
was very sci-fi and cool. Also, can we talk about just like some of the design of the world? I thought the world design was actually pretty good now that I think about it. Just like the structures, the different spaceships looked cool. Very, if it wasn't like a very hard edge, it was super rounded and like flowy, which was fun. There was like no in between. It felt like either this is like a knife or it's a stone that's been smoothed by the ocean. Yeah,
no, the designs were really fun. I think they're pulling a lot from a lot of different like sci-fi properties. Reminds me a lot of like Stargate shit, which is really fun.
Stargate, man. That was a banger of a show.
Yeah, good as hell. In just a lot of like the designs of like some of the physical like spaces were very just like sharp. I don't know if that's actually accurate to Stargate. It's literally been like 15 years since I've seen that show, but it felt similar to me.
I think Stargate the movie might have come out around the same time as this. What was that, 99?
94?
90. Damn, I was off on that.
Starring James Spader.
James Spader was the star.
Apparently. Yeah, no, you're right. The design of it is all very fun. I really like it. It feels very original without being like derivative of a lot of other shit. I think because the music is so, at least for me, reminiscent of Star Wars, I'm glad that it's not just all Star Wars, Like I'm glad it's not like a pilot who uses the stuff, which is a magical entity that binds the universe together.
Yeah.
And you're trained by Master Yoba.
Use the stuff.
Dude.
Use the stuff, dude. It's actually Jeff Bridges.
I would watch that cut, to be fair.
Master Yoba.
Master Yoba, number 5.
No, not Master. Sensei Yoba.
Sensei Yoba. Cool guy Yoba.
Cool guy Yoba. Chris Pratt. What a cool guy.
He's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah, I like this game. I thought this was a good game, like genuinely. But it was also pretty well reviewed even at the time. They're like, yeah, nice game. Like I feel like it generally got like kind of a B range.
Yeah, just got overshadowed by the PS2's imminence.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff like Dynasty Warriors 2 and Smuggler's Run.
It could be a good game for the pod.
I would play Smuggler's Run. We've got 2 very like good candidates for connective tissue episodes next of Smuggler's Run and Wipeout.
Wipeout's just a good game, though.
Yeah, that is true. This is good. Anyway, yeah, so good game. Pickle, thank you for your suggestion. It was very fun visiting this one. I had no idea about this game, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, no, it was great. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for your suggestions, y'all, and Pickle specifically. Hello. On my end, we said that at exactly the same time. Hello, person who is listening to this podcast. Wow, I forgot our entire fucking outro. I have no idea where I'm going. I have absolutely no clue.
You talk about the website.
Oh my God, thank you.
It's so much easier now.
I was like, what do I even say right here? Hey, if you want to talk to us or suggest a game or see if we've already played a game, you can do that, podtimism.com. It's a spot where you can go do all this stuff. You can also listen to the episode there if you so choose. So yeah, if you need links to our socials or Twitters or anything like that, it's there if you would, if you're so interested. So I guess thanks preemptively. That feels weird. Thanks in advance. That's always the weirdest sign off.
If you do it, thanks.
If not, that's cool. That's also fine.
Yeah. If you're not, thanks as well, I guess.
If you want to help out the show, you can do a couple of things. One, you can review it on your podcatcher of choice. Again, saw a few more of those cropping up. So thanks y'all for doing that. It does help. Or you could tell it to a friend like, hey, I like this podcast. Maybe you'd like it too. It's about video games. It's about optimism. It's about friendship. It's about Godsnax. It's about a lot of things. And maybe you might like it too. So
Godsnax, level 1, capture Bunger. Level 100, kill God.
Kill God, capture Godsnax. So yeah, that's definitely the more effective route, because when my friend comes up to me and says, hey, would you like this podcast? I'd say, maybe. I like you, friend, so maybe that's helpful. But if I just see like some bozo on the internet saying, your game Podtimists are so good on like the internet, I might be like, is that like a good review? Is this just their friend? And like full disclosure, some of them are, but like it's the personal recommendation that helps.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to do any of that, that's also fine. Just being here is cool enough.
Just be you.
Also, Scout Out of the Week. Thank you, Scott Wilkinson, for your work on our podcast art. It's phenomenal. I love it. I look at it and my heart grows warm with pride and joy and happiness for the work that she's done for us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scout.
Yeah, thank you, Scout. co-fi.com/humblegoat.
That is true. Commissions are currently closed. Can't get in there right now. But you should set up an alert if you want some cool stuff from Scout. She does. We haven't mentioned this on the pod before, but she does very good avatars. A scavatar, as some people have taken to calling it.
Scavatar.
I've got mine.
Scavatar.
I do have a scavatar. It looks great. I feel like Scout really like looked at me, drew a good picture of me, and also like highlighted the stuff that I like about myself, and didn't show all my terrible features, like my third hand.
Terrible features, Chase.
My third hand that's growing out of the back of my head.
You see, Scout was able to capture your true essence because she has eyes on the inside, Chase. She's able to see your true self, your true Cthulian form.
She has enough, what is it, essence in Bloodborne? Is that what that is?
I think so.
Insight.
That's it. Yeah.
She has enough insight points to see my Cthulian form.
Yeah.
My Chet the Rat form. We haven't made a lot of Chet the Rat references. There may be a pretty significant amount of our audience now that doesn't know who the fuck that is.
That's because Chet has a gun to my back right now. It's like, keep me shrouded in mystery.
Do not tell them. God, I am so excited for October when we do our spooky story again.
It's coming.
I feel like we have so much fodder for spooky stories again. Oh my God, yeah. Not only is it coming, we get to play scary games again. Oh my God.
This is the one time a year.
Yeah, we can't play scary games. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. I usually will say I would like to play this game, but I don't want to do it until October for the pod. Because like, as much as there are unlimited video games, there are a limited number of scary video games.
Are there any good scary video games coming out?
I don't know. I feel like most of the scary video game market goes to like the specific brand of PC scary video games, like where like just a big scary thing is chasing after you. The last thing that we want to mention is thank you, listener, for being here and listening to this podcast specifically. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate you tuning in, whether it's your first episode or your last.
Like, I'm never watching this episode again. I'm never listening to this shit again.
I'm never coming back. God, that would be funny if someone actively decided, like, no, I'm out. But they got to this part. That would be a little bizarre. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for listening. We really love making the show and like are just enthused to be here and humbled by your presence. So thank you for hanging out. It's really awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it so much. It's really cool that people actually listen to this. It's fun.
It's great. It's fun. It's good. Anyway, with that, David, do you have any gaming wisdom for us this week?
I do. And
what is it?
It's more an apology. It's more an apology. This week,
okay.
Because I feel like we were dunking on butt rock quite a bit. We dunked on the butt rockers. And if butt rock's your jam, like we can still be friends. That's the thing.
That is
That's
true.
a world. There's a world where that is reality. So I mean, your Puddle of Muds, your Three Doors Downs, Creeds, your Breaking Benjamins, your what are some other ones? Some Hoobastanks.
Are we gonna call Hoobastank butt rock? I feel a little rough about that.
Do you think it's emo?
No, it's challenging. Can I throw Hinder in the mix?
Hinder, of course. Top 10 butt rock albums of all time. Houston Press. Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson.
No, hold on. That's a different article.
Make it banana pancakes. Pretend like it's the butt rock. Yeah.
Theory of a Dead Man by Nickelback.
Oh, yeah.
3 Days Grace.
3 Days Grace. Holy shit.
Turtle of Murd.
Oh, murder.
Chevelle.
Jesus, dude. Chevelle smells so bad. Even just reading it. So wild. I'm sorry. No, wait. We're in the middle of our apology, and I'm already like.
No, I'm apologizing to all of these individually. Breaking Ben. 30 Seconds to Mars. Jerry Letts.
Okay. Wait. 30 Seconds to Mars is a good song. The Kill? Is that what it is? Like, yes, Jared Leto as a singer. I don't like, that dude is so weird and I don't love it, but like, The Kill is a good song.
The Kill. Okay.
The Kill is a good fucking song.
Okay.
That chorus goes really, really hard.
Then he starts 30 Seconds to Mars and all over the place and says, it's 30 seconds time.
Jared Leto walks in a room and says, we only have half a minute left until it's Mars.
Because he was a singer first, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, Seether.
Okay, enough. Just listing bands.
That was it. That was the last one. But yeah, if you like butt rock, we like you.
That is true.
That's all we gotta say. That's all I had to say. That's my Podtimism of the week is be nice to everybody, even if you don't like their taste in music.
Be nice to your butt rock friends. They probably get a lot of roasting.
Yeah, they probably already get a lot of shit from all the butt rock they listen to. So.
Oh man,
like that?
about to get an avalanche of Nickelback fans being like, "Dude, your podcast fucking sucks. It stinks so bad."
Hey, let me say this right now. I will stand Creed until the day I die.
I have also kind of come around on Creed.
I've always liked Creed.
Yeah,
they're so melodramatic.
They're very melodramatic and like, did they do the Spider-Man soundtrack?
No, I think that was Nickelback.
Was that Nickelback, son of a bitch?
The Spider-Man soundtrack or the Spider-Man song? Hero save us. I'm pretty sure that's Nickelback.
God damn it.
I'm gonna stand here and wait.
It is.
Do you stand that song? Dude, Chase, are you standing Nickelback right now, Chase? It's okay, baby. We just said we accept everybody.
But that song is pretty good. It's
not a bad song. It was like number one for quite some time. People like Nickelback. They just don't want to admit it. Be brave, Chase.
That's what bravery is for me today.
Admitting that I like Nickelback on my podcast.
Saying I like Nickelback really feels like we're blowing it out of proportion because I like Hero.
I like one of their songs. That's it.
Yeah, it sounds shitty when you say it like that.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. Oh, man. Maybe this is just who I am now.
Let the Nickelback flow through you, Chase. Let it open up the gates.
Say that a podcast can save us. I'm gonna end this episode right now.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.